Hello, everybody. Happy Shabbat. I want to come on here and first let everybody know that I'm okay. I'm just, taking some time off of myself. I know I ain't been on here in a while. Actually, I got tired of hearing my own self teaching and preaching about people coming at me. It just got to the point where it was just ridiculous. And I just shut down for a minute. I had to shut down a lot more. Let me start by saying, ever since I watched that video by Bishop T.D. Jakes that says we need an epiphany, well, that word epiphany has been like haunting me, all the week. Everywhere I go, epiphany, or if somebody, around me, they talking about things such as epiphany. Y'all know I deal with mental health and deal with clients and everything, and watching and listening to them and helping them to solve and deal with their problems. They was having an epiphany. And I'm like, okay, Lord, epiphany, what is this? Why does this keep coming to me? Why is this haunting me? So much to the point where it got on my nerves to where it was, I ain't gonna say tormenting me, but everywhere I looked and everywhere I turned, it just was an epiphany. So I looked up the word epiphany because y'all know I like to get a clear definition. And the definition that I found out of Merriam-Webster was a usual sudden manifestation or perception of the essential nature or meaning of something. It's an intuitive grasp of reality through something such as an event, usually simple and striking. An illuminating discovery, realization, or disclosure. A revealing scene or moment. Well, basically, when I thought about it, I began to understand, because there were certain situations in my life and at certain moments I was getting an epiphany. I would see something and I'm like, oh, that's why that's going this way. Or something would pass before me and it would just catch my attention. I'm very intuitive. I discern the spirit. I'm a behavioral analyst. That's just what I do. I study the body language. I study, I don't just hear what's coming out of people's mouth, or I don't just pay attention to the surface. I pay attention to what's not being said, what's beneath this or behind the scenes. So I'm getting all this epiphany in every area of my life. And it's like a nudging in the spirit. It's like God is trying to tell you something. So I said, okay, now that I understand basically what it is, I need to say, okay, where's my epiphanies? Well, I found out in every area of my life I was getting an epiphany. Epiphanies, like I said before, I deal with the inner court, outer court, and the Holy of Holies. Society is the outer court, people that you see passers by, you don't have no interaction with them. But inner court people, I was getting a lot of epiphanies with inner court people, my associations, because I have been praying, Lord, why is everything stagnant? It's not that it's, not coming. It's like, why is everything being held up? Like I can sense the blessing. I can feel it in my spirit. But it's like the bow hasn't broken yet. It's like, what do I need to do? Where is everything, where's the solution at? So I would get an epiphany on the things that I prayed about. For example, people who are close to me, I want to say my inner court, they would say certain things and it would catch my attention. And I would take that piece of information and go apply it to something, and that's where my breakthrough was. Or that's where my answer was. That's where the resolution was. So learn to hear the nudges in the spirit, your intuition. Learn to be spiritually minded. People don't believe, in the spirit or whatever, but we are mind, body, and spirit. Actually, we are spirit, because the spirit is eternal. It lasts forever. This body gonna go back to the ground. Our mind is our soul, it's where we make the choices that we make, the decisions that we make. We can make decisions that allow us to go with the works of the flesh, do things that satisfy and gratify our body, or we can make decisions that, gratify our spirit, that, that are eternal, that will last long with us, be it heaven or hell. So I'm they call it woman's intuition, but I believe everybody has intuition. I believe anybody that can hear the spirit. He says, he that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying. So if you have an ear, that's your intuitive spirit. That's your intuition. That's that hunch or that nudge. You got to be able to pay attention and not second guess yourself. Because sometimes, that's how God speaks. I can go down the street, see a billboard, and it'll hit me a certain way. Or I'll catch it a certain way. Not that that billboard ain't been sitting there, not that I ain't seen it before, but it would hit me in a certain way. Like one night, I was sitting on Facebook, just, I was supposed to been doing some work, some notes. But I was sitting there, and I did not feel like doing the work. So I was passing the time is what I was doing. Just scrolling on Facebook, trying to psych myself up to get to do the notes, do my work that I'm supposed to do. And there was a post that came by just out of, random as Facebook do. It said, they get quiet because they betray you. Something to that effect. And that hit me. And I'm like, okay, what is this? Why is that affecting me? I pay attention to the nudges, the intuition. Instantly, my mind went to my finances, because that's how the enemy knows to get to me. Because being a single mom with one, basically one income, if I get into some mess, it's hard for me to get out of it. It takes a long time. I don't like paying fees and, all these different things. So I am the type of person, I like to balance my checkbook down to the penny. I like to keep my finances in order so that I don't find myself in situations that I can't get out of, or that it's hard to get out of. And I don't like finding myself in situations where I got to go ask others, to loan me or borrow or whatever. I'm supposed to be the lender, not the borrower. So I try to keep my finances intact. And I need to know what my finances are, because I am a giver. And I just love to give. I love to be a blessing. I love to make people's hearts smile. So therefore, I need to know what's in my finances, what I can do and what I can't do. Because I don't want to try to be a blessing to somebody and then it's in the negative. So instantly, I went to my finances. Now, let me say this too. I have multiple accounts, because I am a person that a lot of people trust. I am power of attorney. I am, I'm saying God has created me to be this way. If you know my story, it ain't nobody but God that created me to be this way. But I have multiple nonprofits. I'm the overseer of a nonprofit. I'm a power of attorney. Let's just say the bank trusts me. I have multiple things. And one of my accounts happened to be in the negative. That's why that Facebook post hit me. That was God trying to get me a message. When I seen that, it just riddled me all on the inside. Because, number one, when you are in an organization, let's just say that, like I have my human services, Resilient Truths. I'm on the board. Other board members. You have the president, the secretary, the director, and the treasurer. Okay, those are your basic nonprofit. Those are your basic board members. You might even learn something out of this. So you have your basic board members, and everybody's supposed to come together for a meeting. And you take minutes of the meeting. That's documentation, because all of this needs to be with the state if you ever get audited or anything like that. You take documentation, and it's written down on paper what was discussed, what was decided amongst the board members. Well, in this one particular organization, there was decisions being made that didn't come across, I'm going to say all the board members, because I don't know how many board members knew. I just know I didn't know. And I feel like being left out the loop. So that's another thing, epiphany, that I got this week, is a lot of the common denominator of a lot of these things, or these epiphanies, or these situations that I found that were illuminated to me, was the fact that being insignificant, being tolerated. I was insignificant in certain areas, certain places. So I don't like being insignificant, because when I'm insignificant, there comes times when I'm significant, but it's to glorify something or somebody else. If I'm going to be significant, I need to be significant at all times. I need to be celebrated at all times, not just when it benefits others, So, getting back to the board members, in this one particular organization, decisions was being made that I was unaware of, and I'm on the board. So, naturally, when a decision was made, the misappropriation of funds, because it did not benefit the vision of this particular organization. It did not fulfill the vision of this particular nonprofit. Say, like my Resilient Truths, my human services. I can't take funds out of my human services and go bet on the Super Bowl, because that's misappropriation of funds. It goes against the vision of my human services. So this was taking place, and the account was overdrawn, and I knew nothing about it. Now, I'm not so big on the overdrawn. I'm big on the fact that when you come from where I come from, where God has brought me from, and you create a status where people trust you, where banks can depend on, if we do this for you, you're gonna be, reputable, and you're gonna do what you're gonna be credible. You're gonna do what you say you're gonna do. You're gonna honor your word. They trust me. That's why I have all these accounts. I have multiple accounts. So when one goes in the negative, that draws a red flag. They begin to look, maybe she's going through something, maybe she's going down, or people get leery, especially when it comes to money. So I take pride in being a spirit of excellence, in keeping my finances in order, in being an ambassador for Christ. I take pride in what I do. I'm not a negative pride, but I take pride in being able to give God the glory, because it is He who created me, not me myself. And you can't give God glory if you're running around here in debt. You can't give God glory if you're running around here broke. Because how can you bless somebody? He say, bless, be a blessing. How can you be a blessing if you're broke? So I take pride in being a child of God. And it, like I said, it didn't hit me because of the negativity. It hit me because of the disrespect. How could you make a decision that affects the lives of others on the board financially without including the others getting the decision? You know, some people are just prideful and they don't feel like asking, for help or assistance or whatever. Because that thing could have been resolved a whole different way before it went that way. Some people think, oh, we can just do this and get it taken care of before anybody know about it. Well, yeah, you can. But when you're very intuitive like I am, and God tells on you, you can't get nothing past God. So I'm sitting there minding my business, supposed to be doing work, and I'm scrolling through Facebook, and God allows a post to go past my eyes. That ain't had nothing to do with me, but it hit me in a particular way. This is how I found this out. I didn't go crazy. I didn't go off. I didn't go ridicule and put that person down or criticize nothing. What I needed to do, I say, like, I don't know how many board members or how many people is involved in this, and everything is quiet. I mean, there used to be phone calls all the time, but it just got quiet. This takes place. Now, I kind of think that it's fixed. I don't know, because I'm not on that account anymore. Because the phone calls have started coming again. But I'm taking a break because I need to be able to collect my thoughts, get my thoughts together. Because I check my spirit before I come at somebody. I need to make sure I'm in the right spirit before I come to somebody about something. Because I have no tolerance for disrespect. I'm very angry when I'm disrespected. With everything that I've worked for, or everything that God has done to restore me, and something as simple as somebody making a decision for their own selfish gain, their own selfish reasons, does something to taint what God has done in my life, it's disrespect. You should be able to come to people and at least talk to them, communicate with them. One of my favorite authors that I like to read is John C. Maxwell. And he said, communication is the way to be an effective leader. If you can't communicate with people, you can't lead. So therefore, I'm very transparent. I'm very talkative. I like coming on my YouTube channel, giving my life experiences, because I'm hoping somebody can learn from my experience versus going through it themselves. I'm hoping I can save people a lot of trouble, is what I'm saying. So it just really hit me the wrong way. That was an epiphany to me, that people would disrespect me and not even, it wasn't even warranted. I'm too busy thinking about this other individual who kept coming at me, disrespecting me openly. I wasn't thinking about somebody disrespecting me behind my back. So, long story short, I went down immediately. That's how I know it's in God. Because, you can't really get an appointment like too soon with a bank now because of the COVID restrictions and people, and I don't know what's really going on with that. But normally it take a week out, to get an appointment. I set an appointment immediately. God gave me an appointment the very next day, right in, matter of fact, maybe 2 blocks down the street from me. I went in there and I talked to the personal banker there, and I said, look, I gave him my card. I said, look, you see all these accounts. I'm a customer. I'm invested in this bank. And, he went through his spiel. Thank you for being a valued customer, all this kind of stuff. I said, no problem. But this isn't what I'm here for. I have this one particular account that is connected, and I don't want to be connected anymore. Because this account is destroying my reputation, my credibility with all the other accounts. I said, you see, I'm standing here. I ain't have no parts in this. I want to be disconnected from this account ASAP. He was shocked. He said, you sure? I said, I'm positive. I want to be off this account because this is not me. I don't do this. I don't act like this. So he went in there, did what he did with what he had to do on the computer, had me sign a piece of paper that I'm off the account, turned in my bank card, and I'm done. Just that simple. Therefore, he knows. I said, you see all my accounts. This is not the activity that I have, or I wouldn't have all these accounts with you. He understood. He seen how long I've been with him, and he understood. I got out of there, didn't have to pay nothing. Just, God let me walk away scot-free. So I walked away out of that, and then I'm in the motion of paying to amend some paperwork so that I can be totally off the thing, because I'm not going to be sewing or being a part of that community and they acting like that. That's disrespect to people that, is supporting them. It's like the companies that get these government grants and they do whatever they want to do with the grants. Like me, my resilient trust, my human services, if I get grants and I take it and do what I want to do with it, and it's for the community. That's what a nonprofit is. It's for the community. It ain't for you. It ain't for the people on the board. It's for the community. So if I take the money and do what I want to do for myself, my own selfish reasons, that's misappropriating funds. So I don't want to support anybody that's not doing what they say they're going to do. That's living a lie. And if I support into that, then that means I condone that lie. And I don't. I can't condone the lie because that's going to hit my house. And like I said, I'm a single mom. I need God. I need God to keep me where I'm at. I cannot play with that. At any given time, I could be in the street. I could be one of these people that I'm out here helping. And I can't play with that. I've been close to that, dealing with people that had connections to me. I've been in a weekly with roaches all over me. I've been put out of my house behind, mess and people that I was connected with. People, that had no respect for me. When I came out of my situation, I was pouring and pouring and pouring into this one organization. But because I wanted that organization to be able to help those, to be an organization that gives more than it receives. I was pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring. When I went through that situation, that experience, when I came out, there was no support for me. None. None whatsoever. There wasn't nothing in the storehouse. Nothing. By the grace of God, I'm still in my place. And if I wasn't qualified or credentialed to be the pastor, I wouldn't have had a storehouse saved up where my children was taken care of while I was in a hospital bed. I know how to run a storehouse. I know how to be an ambassador for Christ. I know how to represent God because I know how I would want God to represent me. So I don't sow into or support things that I don't believe in. Because if I support the disrespect, then that says I grant it, that I accept the disrespect. I don't accept the disrespect. And I especially don't accept the disrespect when leaders or people of the organization are feeding themselves more than they feeding the people in the community. I don't accept that. Bible says, about talking about the communion. Say, if you hungry, stay at home and eat. Now, if you ain't got nothing at home to eat, you ain't got no business being in leadership. Because it said, how can a man rule the church if he can't rule his own house? You got to be able to, anointing is coming out of something, being delivered from something. You got to first be delivered before you can teach somebody something. I was blessed to be asked. I had just happened to be at an organization, and they was talking about, they had hit it on, God. You can't do church, you so judgmental. I can't go in there looking this way or dressed this way because I'm judgmental. And I just happened to tell them, well, not all churches are the same. I happen to be a pastor, and I'm not that way. I said, I know not all churches are the same because I happen to be 30 years clean of crack cocaine. I happen to be delivered from prostitution. And I told them, a bit of my testimony. Just in doing that, that made room for me. The owner of that organization came to me and said, I was thinking about starting a substance abuse for my patients, my clients. How did you think about starting a faith-based class? Just off my testimony. God will make room for you. Your gifts will make room for you. I wasn't thinking about getting nothing. That thing leaped in my spirit, and I'm so excited about it. I'm studying about it. I got a book and stuff already. They gave me the book. I just mentioned the name. They gave me the book. So I got that studying to do. I released, I disconnected from the disrespect. Let's just say that. And God opened up so many things. I was able to get back in school and be able to finish the classes, the assignments that I couldn't finish while I was in that experience. So I can get the grade and be able to go on into the next course and everything and be able to complete my master's in social work. So still praying for the finances and everything, but I believe He's going to open that up too. But I'm back in school. I'm doing some spring cleaning in my house because I have the time now. I'm not out supporting people that ain't supporting me, I can't say not supporting me, but I can say I'm not just tag along Cassidy. I'm not really doing anything. I'm not really teaching, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I ain't doing none of the purpose and call that God put on my life. So I just started spring cleaning in my house, downsizing some things. Like I said, I got a lot of epiphanies. One epiphany was with my kids. I'm like, why am I always broke? Why is this? Next thing, and I was at the sheriff's department, and I know he had just got paid, and I know he had money in the bank. Because I knew what was in the bank that day when he gave me the money, gave me the part for the rent. And I'm like, why? He went to a concert. And he ain't had the money for the sheriff's card. So he took Mama, thinking Mama gonna take care of it. Mama took care of it, but Mama let him know, look, you need to make sure you save for stuff that you need. This is the last thing I'm just going to be taking care of. I'm going to take care of the roof over the head, make sure we got that. Make sure you got a nice place to lay your head. I'm going to make sure all of that right now because I know you can't do it yourself. But beyond that, you need to make sure you got a storehouse, a savings account to take care of your stuff. I am not your bank account. I couldn't even buy a burger that day. That was an epiphany. As much money as I make, I couldn't buy a burger. I hadn't ate all day because I was ripping and running. Matter of fact, he threw that in on my schedule. I didn't even know I was doing that. And I'd let him know about that too. You need to give me notice. I'm finna treat you like an employee now. You need to give me notice. I need at least 48 hours notice to what to, that way I can plan to get you wherever you need to go until you learn to get your driver's license and drive yourself. I have no problem in supporting you and helping you do the things that you need to do. But you're going to have to give me some respect. Give me some leeway. You can't just throw stuff in my life just because you my child and I'm supposed to jump hoops. You can't do it. I got a schedule. I got clients. I can't just do them clients any old kind of way. They deserve respect too. So that was an epiphany. My daughter got an epiphany on her. She won't do all of this and she think I'm just gonna go buy fast food, but she's sitting in her room doing what she want to do and ain't done her part of the chores. God fed me all week. I came, Mom, what we gonna eat? Well, when you finish getting the kitchen clean and you find something to cook, then that's what you gonna eat. Stood there with a mouth open. I'm done with the disrespect. The epiphanies come with messages to learn the message, learn the lesson to make your life better. They come from heaven. They come from God. And true enough, since I have been listening to the epiphanies and disconnecting from certain situations, my life has had more time. I have been less stressed, and I have more peace. I keep peace that surpasses all understanding, but when things come into my life that start to frustrate my peace, that's a message. That's something God trying to tell me, trying to show me something. So there's another issue that I'm dealing with that some say just because they wanted a gift, that's the reason why they showed up. You know, whatever. But I didn't have to give a gift if I didn't want to. When they call and they show up just because they want a gift, that's on them. They missing a blessing, not me. Because I don't have to give it if I don't want to. But people that use people, that's a hell of a life to live, because literally, talking about hell, the place of hell, that's a hell of a life to live, because you always have to be in that mentality. It's like a pushover mentality. You can't just walk in love and walk up to somebody and ask somebody. God is love. You can't just ask. Asking it shall be given unto you. Now, if you done some things and you come asking all the time, yeah, people get tired. They be starting to look at you like, why you can't do? What's going on? I can't keep, supporting you. I can't afford to keep supporting you. Stuff like that. Yes, but when you get in a situation, that's what we're here for. We're supposed to be, accountable for one another. Don't just go off and make decisions where you cause, yourself to get in. Like I was talking to a client the other day. He needed some quarters to wash clothes and some soap to wash his body. And he was trying to get one of them payday loans or loans out there, whatever. And I'm like, don't be getting yourself into, because once you get into them, you can't get out of them. Why would you do that? Why won't you ask somebody? And he just had been in a situation where he asked and people stopped giving because he never learned the lesson to do anything different. So that's what I do. That's what we're working on, is learning how to get out of that cycle, do something different. And on top of that, the Lord blessed me with my human services to bless him with the $20 in quarters to wash his clothes at the laundromat. And I had the bar of soaps already at the house from when I was delivering soaps before. So he got a blessing at the same time. So, you know what I'm saying? When you in with a whole board or group, don't mess up everybody's credibility because you can't do your stuff. Why can't you talk to people? Why can't you communicate? Why can't you ask? Because that pride is sitting in there. You don't want nobody to know your business. But everybody gonna find out your business when it hit them, when their credibility is down. Now, had that gone left and I didn't know about it and it got up there or whatever, or it continued to happen, they would start closing my accounts. They wouldn't trust me anymore. That's based on trust. I have a financial institution that trusts me. I walk in a way that people trust me. You ain't got to look, too far to see what I'm doing. I will tell you. You ain't got to, just ask if you just need to know that bad. I will tell you. I ain't got to hide nothing. First of all, I'm grown. I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't belong to no person. I belong to God. So I don't have to hide from anybody. I will ask you. I will tell you. If I got a problem, I ain't got no problem asking you either. But when I start to see that you're doing stuff that jeopardizes my credibility, jeopardizes our relationship, when you start social distancing, it throws a red flag. That's an epiphany to me. Okay, what's going on? I thought we were getting close. And as far as ministry go, I feel like I ain't doing nothing anyway. I feel like I'm insignificant. You know, get up there and open up or throw the announcement, you know, whatever. I'm not teaching, I'm not preaching, I'm not doing anything. So I'm like, Lord, what are we doing with ministry? God showed me. I happened to be somewhere one day, and a gentleman came to me, and he said, don't take this the wrong way. I said, okay. He said, no, don't take this the wrong way. I said, okay. He said, I need you. He said, right now, I need you. I felt that all in my spirit. All in the depths of my spirit. This man been dealing with depression. He been dealing with anxiety. He been battling suicidal thoughts. He been battling all that kind of stuff. And all he had to say, I need you. I said, that's ministry. That's what I'm supposed to be doing with ministry. Now, as far as the clients, I had a young lady, I took her out. I had to pick up Marcus, actually, from work. And I didn't want to sit out there in the car and be hot. And I said, well, I didn't want to be late. So I said, well, let's go on in here and have a bite to eat on my son's discount. And wait for him to get off work. Just in doing something simple like that, I didn't know. She sat there, thank you. She said, people don't do this. That's ministry. She was so depressed. I didn't know she was depressed. She let me know that she does things to harm herself. That's ministry. I don't have time to be sitting out with people that, number one, won't let me do anything. Won't let me preach or teach. Always saying something, putting stuff off. You know, first of all, I think that's an insult to God, because you ain't guaranteed tomorrow. You ain't guaranteed your next breath. If God don't give it, you ain't got it. I think that's an insult. So if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it the day of. I ain't gonna put it off. I'm gonna put it in motion right when, you know, I put it in motion. Now, there's some things that be a check in my spirit, and I be trying to get it done. It just don't happen to get done. But that's because God don't want me to do it, or it ain't the time to get it done then. But that's what I'm saying. Even to think that, oh, I'm just going to do this right now and take care of it later. What if there is no later and it never gets taken care of? Therefore, you have messed up the credibility of everybody on the board. Everybody that's connected to that. That's disrespect. That's self-righteous. And my problem is you ain't even, don't being messed up and don't even know about it. Ain't even brought it to nobody's attention. So I'm taking the time to spring clean and do me. This is why I don't like being in stuff. This is why I don't like having relationships, let's just say, because you don't never know what people gonna do. You really don't. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not. But I don't go out there and intentionally do something that's gonna harm somebody else, be it physically, emotional, spiritual. I'm just not gonna do it, because I'm just not that type of person. I'm an empathetic person. I'm an introvert. I take consideration of other people's heart before I take consideration of my own, which means I'm more suicidal than I am sacrificial, which I shouldn't do. I wear my heart on my sleeve, but that's who I am. You know, I live out here this far, this close to being right out here with the clients that I service, that I deal with. I'm out here. So when I sow into something, knowing that I don't have, or knowing that I'm going through, or knowing that I'm struggling, I understand what these clients is talking about, what the community is talking about as far as going to church or sowing in the church, because they sow in the church and then they see us sitting out potlucking and dining and all that. How dare you take the seeds of those who are struggling and just wine and dine all the time? Once or twice, meeting a month, that's fine. But when you got multiple zeros behind it, that's an injustice to the community. I can't sit there wondering how I'm going to take care of this bills and that bills at my house, sow my seeds, and live large over there. Because that's not sowing my seed. I'm eating them up. If I sow my tithe somewhere and I hang out and do that, that's not sowing my tithes into the community where it can be stored into the storehouse where it can be for the community. That's me eating up. That's being gluttonous. That's works of the flesh. That's that reveling in such. That's where that falls at. I'm not comfortable with that. I don't feel comfortable in being in stuff like that. I'm too close out here. He can just blow his breath and I can find myself either right back in the weekly or right out here on the street with everybody else. I can't treat God as common. I can't do it. I think that's why he keeps me in this, because it keeps me humble. It keeps me knowing what's going on. I cannot feel comfortable living large and in charge, and God is footing the bill. I can't do it. Especially when that is sold in to supposed to be for the community, to help the community, to help souls get out of their situation. When you show love and help souls get out of their situation, you lift God up and you draw them unto him. You ain't drawing nobody unto God if you sitting at a restaurant eating. Yeah, maybe the nurses and the waiters and waiters and waitresses, they see that all the time. They don't know the difference. All they can do is hear the difference. Maybe the conversation is a little different. Then too, I don't know. There's gossip amongst the church too. So who knows? We supposed to be different. In being an ambassador of Christ, we ain't supposed to look like the world. We ain't even supposed to be of the world. I don't feel comfortable with that. And I don't feel comfortable making decisions, putting myself in situations where I harm somebody else just because I need something. If I need help, I'm going to ask for it. There was a situation the other day, like I said, with my son. I gave my last $97.25. I'm going to say for that week. For that week's money. For his sheriff's card. I hadn't ate all day because I had been ripping and running, so I didn't have time to go back to the house. I realized I couldn't even buy a burger. That's where that epiphany come from. And I didn't say anything to anybody that night because I had Bible study. because I was still processing it on the inside of me. But what I did was I talked to the Lord every good moment that I had. And, I pray without ceasing. I'm constantly talking to him, trying to process this epiphany. How do I do this? This is my child. I know he can't take care of himself right now. I know he don't know how to drive. I know I got to teach him how to drive. How do I take care of my child? How do I handle my child with this? And he gave me the words to say to my child. And he also gave me a blessing. Somebody sold into me. So I wasn't broke no more. I talked to God. And he answered. Scripture says the prayers of the righteous availeth much. When you are righteous, when you are obedient in God's righteousness, not your own righteousness, when you are obedient in doing what thus saith the Lord, he will bless you. He will answer you right there. I talk to God. It don't take me long to get an answer. Sometimes it's immediate. Sometimes maybe he need to orchestrate some things or whatever. Or maybe I didn't see it the first time, or I didn't catch it, or whatever. But I hear God. He gives me the answer that I need. He tells me where to go to get everything I need to keep everything going. He supplies all my needs according to his riches and glory. He shows me where to go get it, who to get it from, how to get it, how to do it. And every month, it's flowing over here. It wouldn't be that way if I was disrespecting God, if I was being disobedient, if I was doing things wrong, if I wasn't walking in truth. Rabbi said Tuesday, truth is a lonely road, and I agree. But it's a lonely road that I would rather have than be tied up with some people that don't have nobody's best interest at heart but their own. That's not serving God for real, the right way. God wouldn't do nobody like that. He ain't gonna disrespect you to bless me. He ain't gonna do that. That's not God. That's flesh. So, anyway, I'm cleaning house, getting some stuff in order, putting some things together, getting ready for my new venture. I'm going to start teaching and winning some souls with this substance abuse class and whatever. Y'all know that's my testimony. Learn to respect people. Don't disrespect. You cannot be blessed by somebody that disrespects you. You can't be a blessing by disrespecting others. You will run people away. Church hurt. You will run people away by being a false witness of Christ. Now, I ain't running nowhere. I'm still in love with the Lord. I'm still going to do what thus saith the Lord do. It's just, I'm going to take some time and clean up stuff in my house. Some stuff that should have been done, taken care of a long time ago. And listen what the Lord say. What he wants me to do, especially as far as this substance abuse course, the class or whatever we doing. I'm excited about that in my spirit. I really am. Because I remember that Bible. I just walked into it and they was having it was like a little Bible study. They was talking about, God, and I was able to stand and say and tell them of the hope that lies in me. Y'all know I love that. So the atmosphere was set when I got there. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it what God does. He created a situation. He created an atmosphere where he can shine. And he shines through me because he's in me. And it just makes my heart smile. So, like I said, I'm going to get off of here. I got to go get my son. He got to wash clothes and he going to do some things at the house and download some games, I guess, or whatever on his game system. I don't know what, he got so many. And then I got to go get my hair done. I get my hair braided. Fellowship for a moment while I get my hair braided. And then I got to come back and do notes. And then I got to do some more studying on this course. I'm going to do at least an assignment. I'm trying to get those assignments done. You know, I got till the 6th to get it done to be able to get that grade lifted and pass that course so I can go forward from when I was in my experience. They opened up the class for me again. God is truly awesome. He's truly doing some things. Things just started opening up. Breakthrough happened. If you stagnant and ain't nothing moving, you need to check what you're connected to. It might not be you. It just may be the disrespect that you're connected to. Maybe things ain't the way it seems. Check your spirit. Be blessed.